अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यं निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। स्वाराज्य साम्राज्य विभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिम प्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने। नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु। नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु। नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु। नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः। यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते। यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते। हरि ओम तत्सत्। We should not lose track of the whole sadhana that Bhagavad Gita presents. That is why every time I go back and try to relate things, that initially it discovers that man gets bound by their work because they are active by desire motivation. Motivated by desire, they act. So naturally, the fulfillment they are looking for. That we said that we are born with an insufficiency in us. Right from the beginning, there is some lack in us. That is why we want happiness outside. That means we are not happy. When you are born, we are not happy. So something we have the delusion that one is the insufficiency, another is the delusion that something from the world will make us happy. With that we start working. But as we work and we are not becoming fulfilled, and in many cases it results in opposite and all, so we are getting more and more bound. We are not happy with the world. Bound means what? If you become fulfilled, then you will not look for anything from the world. Is it not so? The basic trouble is lack of fulfillment. That is the abhava bodha. Now, if we become fulfilled, then it doesn't matter what happens to the world at all. You will not look for anything from the world for your joy, because basically we want joy, we want to be fulfilled. So once you become fulfilled, you don't want anything from the world, that means you become free. That anything can happen, we are not dependent on the circumstances. This we have to understand. To do that, they have analyzed, the Bhagavad Gita has analyzed that is desire really necessary or not. And they have come to the conclusion that desire is redundant, it is not necessary. The whole dunya, the whole universe is working without desire. Why? Everything is doing their natural work. Whatever is natural, suppose a red flower, a big flower is blossoming. A dahlia, red dahlia is blossoming as a red dahlia. A small grass flower is blossoming as a white or yellow grass flower. The grass flower doesn't want to become like the big red rose or dahlia or anything like that. So the whole nature, even including animals also, they are functioning without desire. So why in human being it will be necessary? And they discovered that it is really not necessary. Actually, we think that fulfillment of desire is giving us happiness, but actually desire is keeping us unhappy. So when the desire is eliminated, we feel happy. These equations you have to understand very well by ruminating. Then only the nature will be corrected. Our efforts will be different. So, now in that they found that the trouble lies with our two things. One is Sangha, another is Sangha, or you call it Sakta, Asakti, all are same. Another is desire or Raga Dvesha. That means we cling to what we like and we hate or intolerant about what we dislike. The desire is the same thing, because what we desire is actually what we like. There are two kinds of desire: to acquire something what we like and to avoid something what we dislike. So Raga Dvesha and desire are the same. There is no difference. And Sangha or Asakti, this is a kind of an identity we form with things around. That I-ness and mine-ness. Mine-ness and I-ness. We call ego. Now Bhagavad Gita says that Upanishadic Vidya, that is Sankhya Yoga, initially it presented in the 2nd chapter, where by constantly thinking and contemplating on the transcendental soul, universal soul, which is unaffected, which is not limited by any forms, anything at all, if we can contemplate on that, then our mind will also be free of all the smallness, selfishness, raga, dvesha, everything. Because it is universal, it becomes universal. There, the technique, basically the science is, whatever we interact with, there is an exchange of quality. Suppose a ball is standing, another ball comes and hits this ball. Then the standing ball starts moving. That is, energy exchange is taking place. Like that, whatever our mind is interacting with, it's a subtle, mind is subtle, but whatever the mind is interacting with, it takes on the properties of that. So normally, right from birth, we are interacting with the gross objects and raga, dvesha and all. So the mind becomes gross by that. So what we do in Upanishadic Vidya or Kevala Jnana Nishtha is constantly we contemplate on the soul, which is subtler than the subtlest, which has no division, no forms, nothing, no change in it, no causality, it is beyond everything. So when we start thinking about the contemplating on that soul, contemplating of the soul, our mind also becomes like that. This we should understand. Whatever the mind is interacting with, the mind will become like that. So by interacting with the soul, the concept of the soul, our mind becomes the soul. This is the Kevala Jnana Nishtha. Now, what is the difficulty with people? That they are not fit for this Kevala Jnana Nishtha, because it needs concentration, it needs fixity on that, it needs mind to be more or less desireless. That is, the mind should not be disturbed by the worldly actions and things. So only those who are coming away from general worldly activity of earning, living in the family, etc., for them it is a possibility that they can completely devote to that kind of a contemplation, and the mind will become like that. Then if that is so, then this goal will be available to only a few people who are deserving this. What about the rest of the people of the world? There Bhagavad Gita is revolutionary. He says that, Krishna says, or Vedavyasa says that it is available for one and all, provided they want it, and they are ready to transform their mind and intelligence. This is a revolutionary presentation of Bhagavad Gita. That is, the work is not at all a hindrance. For Kevala Jnana Nishtha, work is a hindrance. But for the others, work is hindrance as long as it is desire motivated. The same work, if we do with a different mindset, that work will, our actions will help us to go beyond our smallness, our constrictions, our selfishness, our raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. So, Bhagavad Gita wants to utilize the work to completely transform our mind. So, for that, they are saying that it is yoga buddhi. How it is? That buddhi, our intelligence, in meditation or contemplation, what are we doing? We are meditating on the soul. And we want to get into nirvikalpa samadhi, we get fused into the soul, fusion or get dissolved into that soul, universal, transcendental soul. Now, when we are active, can we not make that soul itself the objective of our activities also? That is the main idea there. That is, whatever qualities the soul represents, that it is unaffected, it is not constricted at all, it is free, it is all embracing everything, because soul is only one, even not one, it is transcendental. So, in our activities, if we develop this impersonal, if we can incorporate this impersonal dimension of the soul, then as we are acting, we are coming nearer and nearer to the soul. Is it understood? That in our activities also, the moment we are acting, we will find that we will look within and find that I am acting for some selfish gain. So there we have to change our attitude. No, is it to be done? I am not interested in the selfish gain. Is it a work to be done or not? For the benefit of the people or whatever. As it is, it's something to be done by me or not. So immediately what happens? The selfishness is treated. Similarly, when we are doing, always we prefer something and we don't want to do where I have to perhaps work a little hard, and we take the simple one. For the preference. There we will look into the mind and see that actually I am slave to my preference and prejudice. Something I don't want to do, something I want to do just because I like. So that has to be corrected, treated. So every action, not only every action, it is to the mind also. Suppose you are not acting, you watch your thoughts. In the thoughts, all the constrictions, smallness, selfishness, preference, prejudice, sangha, everything is coming in the thought. So even we don't really have to act. That yoga buddhi can be applied directly on our mind, in the thinking. And what will they do? They will make the mind, when the yoga buddhi is applied, the mind will become free of its constrictions, free of its bondages. That is how, through karma itself, man can become free. This is called naiṣhkarmya-siddhi. That is, this is the way we have to undertake activities. And as the mind becomes free of its constrictions, then automatically you will be able to get into the meditative samadhi or whatever. It will come automatically. In our parampara, always it is said that dhyan korte hai na re, dhyan hoy. One does not have to meditate. Meditation dawns. When will it dawn? When throughout the day I am keeping in my mind the dimension of the soul, the impersonality of the soul, the unaffectedness of the soul, the universality of the soul. If that is throughout the day in all actions, that remains like a cynosure, like the star. Then when we don't have to do anything, automatically the mind will go towards that. Our problem is throughout the day we are engaging the mind with selfish gain and loss and all that through small objects and objective situations. So the mind is always interacting with the gross things. So when we are sitting for meditation also, the mind is not focused on the soul. It collects all the actions we have done, we had the involvements throughout the day, which we feel a distraction in meditation. That is why during the interactions, during the active period, throughout the day, every moment, we have to be focused on our mind and bring in the soul dimension there. That is the meaning of yoga buddhi or buddhi yukta, we say. That is the buddhi, the intelligence is completely anchored in the dimension of the soul, in our inmost reality. Is it very clear? This is the sadhana. Now, after discussing all these things, Bhagavad Gita is a great synthesis also. He has discussed karma yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, everything, whichever was going. And intermittently he has been saying, some people say that, some people say this, etc. So after presenting a comprehensive thing, from 11th chapter, he has started presenting the knowledge. But there also, he is presenting it as a full-scale practical sadhana. How? Because we will not be able to actualize the knowledge unless we become sattvika in nature. So they have defined the three kinds of all aspects of our life. Our buddhi, our food, our knowledge, our karma, our karta. Everything they have defined as three categories, sattva, rajas, tamas. And the purpose is what? To actualize the knowledge, we have to develop more and more of sattva guna. So the tamoguna effect has to be overcome by sattva guna and rajoguna, and the rajoguna slavery has to be overcome by sattva guna. And the sattva guna slavery has to be overcome by surrender finally. This surrender is the last element, samarpana buddhi. It is the last element. Even in Patanjali Yoga Darshana, you will find this has to be done, that has to be done, so many definitions, so many kinds of klesha, this, that and all. Finally, on the 23rd sutra, he is saying, Ishvara pranidhanat va. That means you do all these things, or Ishvara pranidhana. That means surrendering to the Lord. Now the problem with surrender is that there will always be self-deception. How will you know that you have surrendered? How will you know that I have surrendered? People always say that I have surrendered to God, I have surrendered. Nothing. I often quote our Pondicherry mother's statement that when people seekers join the ashram, they said, Mother, I have surrendered everything to you. But when they actually start staying, we find that they have surrendered nothing but their common sense. It is true. So surrender means deception actually. I mean, it doesn't mean deception, but we deceive in the name of deceive ourselves in the name of surrender. So that there are tests of surrender also, that surrender means a feeling of refuge should be there. Ashraya bodha. Ashraya bodha should be in our mind. If you have surrendered to the highest power in the world and beyond the world, then what do you have to fear? What do you have to look for? You should not ask for anything at all. I am always sitting on the lap of the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Reality. Now that too sometimes you may deceive yourself. The test is that surrender means there cannot be any complaint. This is the most practical thumb rule. The moment your mind raises a complaint that I want this, I want that, this is not that, that is not that, it is not surrender. Now, surrender as a pursuit we take. And truly speaking, this surrender does not become fully applied as long as we don't have a guru. Because when we come to a guru, the God comes before us as the guru. That means so far we were surrendering to an invisible God. And God will never speak to you. You will never know. You will say that. Even the shloka I quoted yesterday, Ishvara arpitam naiṣhkarmya kritam, Brahman Maharshis. Now, naiṣhkarmya kritam, how will you know that I have done it without any desire? You will deceive yourself. So, until the Guru comes in front, the surrender is not, it doesn't become full. Bhagavad Gita will go to that. That is the last phase of this. We have not yet reached, we may not reach also tomorrow, but I am telling you that this is the last phase, where Bhagavan comes down as Krishna before Arjuna, and Krishna directly says that Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji maham namaskuru. That is, God stands before the seeker as the Guru. And there, surrendering means you surrender to the Guru's wish, Guru's will. Whatever the Guru says, you have to do. And you can easily test whether you are following the Guru's words or not. I give you the homework. All of you are disciples of Swamiji, many of you. You write down in your notebook how many words of Swamiji you have followed and how many you have not followed or done against it. Many things you will find that we are doing ulta, the reverse of it also. See, generally we say 3 kinds of shishyas. What is that? Uttama shishya, the best shishya. For that, Guru doesn't have to say anything. He knows what the Guru wants. Before the Guru asks for water, he will give water. Or before the Guru wants anything, he will know, he will do it. That is the Uttama shishya. Madhyama shishya is whenever Guru says anything, he does. And he does it properly. But Guru has to open his mouth. The Adhama shishya is, even if the Guru says, he doesn't do. That is the Adhama. We have the 4th kind we have added, that is not a shishya, that is he does the reverse of whatever the Guru says. That is not considered as shishya. But that number also is many. Even ashramites also, many people have stayed and gone. It is more of that number. Whatever Swamiji says, they will do the reverse of it. It is there. So, when the Guru comes in front, that is why he says right there, Manmana bhava madbhakta. After that he says, Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. Aham tva sarvapapebhya mokshaishyami mashuchaha. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam. Now, if Krishna is not there, then is it become invalid now? Because Krishna is not there, he is saying he should follow Arjuna, should follow Krishna. It is not like that. Ekam is the true for any Guru who has identified himself with the real soul. That real soul is one. That is, you follow the soul. Now, you will not know whether you are following the soul. So, Guru is there to guide you, to tell you what is to be done, what is not to be done. In that case, the dharma, adharma, buddhi will not be there. In the 1st chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is preaching Krishna that adharma will take place. Whatever we are going to do, fight the war, that will lead us to great sin. Ahovata mahat papam kattum vyavasidavayam. And many things. So, it is because he has not yet surrendered to the Guru there in the 1st chapter. And he is quoting dharma, adharma, whatever he knew. But Krishna says no. Now, in this form, after the Bhagavad Gita has been told, you have to do whatever you want to do. Hey, whatever I tell you to do. That portion is very nice. I would like to cover it tomorrow. Because he says that I have told you the highest secret. Everything has been told. And now, yatechasi tatha kuru. Vimishyaitad asheshena yatechasi tatha kuru. Whatever I have told, everything about knowledge. Jnanam akyatam. Now, thinking about all that, whatever you want to do, you do. That means you fight or you don't fight. The decision is left on him. Then he says, no, but I cannot leave you at there because, oh Arjuna, I am fond of you. You are my own, you are my own person. So I cannot stop without telling the highest secret, the sarvaguhyatamam bhuyaha shrinume paramam vacha. This is the supreme word. See, after so much of discussion, so much of philosophy, so many things he has said. Now he is saying sarvaguhyatamam, the greatest secret in the world, and that is the supreme word. What is that? I have to tell you. Then he says, Manmana bhava madbhakta. See, the surrender is the ultimate word in sadhana. So Bhagavad Gita is proceeding towards that. Where we are, it is just proceeding towards that. And it will end up with that, the ultimate concept. And this surrender also is fine. You surrender. As long as we are doing the sadhana, we have to surrender our ego, surrender our dharma sense, surrender our shubha, ashubha concept, surrender all the concepts we have. So that the ego is completely eliminated or sublimated. And the raga dvesha, particularly the likes and dislikes, that clinging to what I like and hating what I dislike, they are completely washed off. So what happens after that is that you come to know when the ego goes and the ragadvesha also go, you come to know that the whole universe as it is functioning as an effect of the 3 gunas, Like that, by my body, mind, personality also is part of the nature and functioning with those gunas. That means I am already surrendered. I don't have to surrender. This is the last knowledge we get through surrender. We don't have to surrender. We are already surrendered. We cannot do anything. It is all the nature playing. Even when I am applying my own effort, self-effort, it is the nature which has given me the self-effort and that I am applying. But as long as I feel that I can do this or that, you have to have your self-effort also. You have to make your decision also. As long as you have the ego, you have to take your decision. Like I said, Shreyas and Preyas are coming together. You have to select. If you are a seeker, you have to find out, analyze and select the Shreyas if you are a real seeker. That is left to you as long as you have ego. When the ego has gone, you find that the guna guneshu vartanta. All the gunas are functioning in the whole world. They are functioning through my body, mind, personality also. I am already surrendered. There is nothing more to surrender at all. So that I am surrendered to have the knowledge, we are using the surrender as a pursuit, as a sadhana. This is how the whole sadhana of Bhagavad Gita is proceeding. Now we are at a point, after establishing that, all our work will have to be made into sadhana, so that we don't need any special time for sadhana generally, because all the thoughts, every moment of life becomes a sadhana. What kind of a sadhana? To involve the yoga buddhi and by that remove the sangha and phalakamana. Sangatyaga and phalatyaga. These are the constant words of Bhagavad Gita, repeatedly going on. Even 18th chapter also, last year we had done 18.11, I think. See the 11th verse of 18th chapter? No, 9th verse of 18th chapter. 9th verse of 18th chapter. He says, Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko mataha. This is the satvika tyaga. There he has defined the tyaga. Then 11th verse he says, Nahi deha vrita shakyam tyaktum karmanya-siddhi yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi ityavidhiyate. That repeatedly Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva. Repeatedly he is saying. So these are the two things one has to do to make all our activity a sadhana which will lead us to the ultimate goal. And he has repeatedly said, what is that ultimate goal? Brahma Prapti. That whatever the Kevala Jnana Nishtha or Upanishadic sadhana is taking us to, whichever goal he is taking us to, this also Yoga Buddhi or the Buddhi Yoga Bhagavad Gita prescribes will also take us to the same goal. Now he is saying how it will happen. For that he has presented in this chapter something called Swabhava, Swabhava Karma, Swakarma, Swadharma, all are same basically. That is what is natural to us. How it is coming? The whole nature is functioning with their natural properties. As I said, the red rose is red, the white grass flower is white. They are blossoming with their natural properties. Like that, each human being has got his natural qualities and he will blossom with those qualities. That is the ultimate and the maximum blossoming one can have in his life. Suppose somebody has more sharper buddhi, another person has lesser buddhi. It is fine. The qualities are not same in all. But with whatever qualities he has in his being, that will have its maximum unfoldment or fruition in life, provided he allows the natural fruition. So he says that Swabhava he has introduced. That is in the 8th chapter he has defined, 8th and 9th, 8th, that Swabhava is called, Adhyatma is Swabhava. What is the Swabhava? Swabhava. One I said, Swa is the uniform, singular, transcendental soul. That is not different for different people. That Swa is not different for A and B and C. That Swa, everybody in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they will experience that Swa. There is no difference at all. But that soul, that consciousness, that Atma when it manifests through the body-mind personality, it will take up the qualities of the body-mind personality. That is his svabhava. Now, what are we doing because of the desire? The other day also I said, because of the desire, whatever is our natural quality, leaving that, we are doing something else. That is why everywhere there is anachara, that suppose a businessman, he takes up education, then education will become a business. Is it not happening everywhere? Education should be left to the educationists. But if the education is taken over by businessman, then it will become different. So, everywhere, as I said, that the same electricity is coming out through the light, through the sound, as light, as motion in the fan, and various ways. Now, the light doesn't say that I will become sound. The sound doesn't say that I will become light. But the electricity is the same. As it is manifesting through the different items, it is taking up that property. It is manifesting as that. So, like that, we have each product of nature has got some natural properties. And we should allow you to blossom with those qualities. That is why they have done the 4 categories. Don't confuse the jati with the varna. Varna means color. That means 4 quality category, broad categories they have. Each person is different in qualities, but these are 4 broad categories based on the gunatraya vibhaga yoga. I have explained that sattva, rajas, tamas, different permutation combination gives us the brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya and shudra. And what are their activities, corresponding activities, they have also given. Now, as long as it is in the varna, it is not by that brahmana son will become brahmana. It is not like that. It is, brahmana may have 5 sons, of them one will be a shudra, one will be a kshatriya. It can happen. Anything can happen. That is not ruled out. The work will be according to the varna the person has. Whatever the qualities he has, according to that he will do. But I said that how it gets degenerated, not degenerated, even normally also, because the persons belonging to the varna, particular varna, they will marry. Educationist will marry generally from an educationist. Raja will generally marry from a Raja family. So what happens by that is the qualities get enhanced. A musician will marry a musician. So the children will be already, they will have a knack towards music. And if it goes further for about 3-4 generations, then this varna becomes a jati almost. There will be exceptions. There will be always exceptions. Like Sagara had a son, Asamanjas, who was absolutely different. Sagara was a Rajarshi, but the son was entirely different. So he had to banish. When the prajas came, the people came and reported that your son is putting the babies into the water, and when they are gasping and suffocating, he is clapping and laughing. What kind of behavior is this? That is why his name was given Asamanjas. Now when he came to know that, he immediately banished that son. Because in the Raja family, if he becomes the Raja, then everything will go wrong. So it can happen. Sometimes it happens. And sometimes in, just like Valmiki also, he was not belonging to the Brahmana family. Similarly, Vyasadeva was not belonging to, but they are the greatest writers of our country. Like that, there are many. So variations will be there, but it is by and large, this is the nature. And because of the getting married to the similar qualities, it starts becoming a jati. But whatever it may become, the problem comes to the society when we start looking down upon somebody. Unless we give all the activities equal respect and honor, the problem comes. In our Shastras, because everybody is the soul, and the soul is everybody's inmost level, they are all same. That generated the maximum respect for everybody. And whether he is a weaver or a craftsman or a mason, that means sculptor, or a pandit or a fighter, everybody had a respectable position. But with time, what happened? That some people started looking down upon them, exploiting them. It is a normal corruption of the society, which made the caste system very bad. But actually, it is because of the varna vibhaga that our country prospered, had so much of excellence in every field, whether it is war game or weaving. That I gave all the examples the other day, sculpture and all everywhere. And in not to speak of the literature, where they have excelled in everything. Even now also people cannot understand how did they do it. Not only literature, even in sculpture also it is so. I gave all the examples the other day. So, now where are we standing? They have defined the 4 kinds of work for the 4 categories of people. Now they have to now present that in whatever the category they belong to, they must be deserving to attain the ultimate. Then only Bhagavad Gita's presentation will be meaningful. He said that whatever karma, you can be taken to the ultimate level of emancipation, freedom, or Brahma. That is becoming the Brahman, attaining the Brahman. There comes this shloka where yesterday we did. That is the 45th shloka. 45th shloka of 18th chapter. Are you getting the full picture of it? Now they will say that Sve sve karmanyabhiratah samsiddhim lavate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. He says, if people remain with the natural activity, whatever is natural, varna, according to the varna, that means whatever the qualities he has, if he does that activity, follows that activity, remaining engaged in that activity, they attain the ultimate perfection, samsiddhim, labhate naraha. Sve karmani abhirataha, remaining engaged in their own karma, whatever is their natural karma activity. Samsiddhim labhate naraha, they attain perfection. Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. I will tell you, Krishna says, that how remaining engaged in our own natural activity, svabhava karma, swakarma, one attains the ultimate perfection. Do you get it? So now he is going to present that how a person following any, that either he is a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, how remaining engaged in his own activity, which is by his natural varna, natural qualities of his personality, how he will attain the ultimate siddhi. Now, why should a person take to an unnatural activity? It is only because of some desire. Is it not so? Normally, he will do whatever naturally you are oriented towards. He will not do unnatural. That unnatural activities are coming because some is more paid, some is less paid. And for money, you are shifting from your activity to another activity. Or some is more respected, another is not respected. Manual labor is not respected. It should be equally respected. But it is not respected in the society, so nobody will like to take up manual labor. In Kerala, we don't have anybody to work now, almost. Everybody wants white-collar job. That will naturally be because white-collar job is giving more money and more respect, more honor in the society. So these are all the troubles the society breeds because of this imbalance. That is different. Then 46th also we did. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam
Yatah pravrittir bhutanam
yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatam abhyartya siddhim vindati manavaha. See, this is the secret he is disclosing now. He said, Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. How people attain the perfection by remaining engaged in swakarma, svabhava karma. He says, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. From where the whole universe has come and is held by, where everywhere that truth is there in the whole universe. The objects may be fragmented, but they are all appearing in the single Atma or consciousness or Brahman. Now, if you do archana for that, if you worship that truth by your own karma, that means you offer your karma to that universal Lord. The whole universe is the jajna of that Lord you can think of. Jajna means it is all done desirelessly. In Bhagavad Gita, jajna means whatever you are doing, if you do without desire, it becomes jajna. Just the opposite of Vedic jajna. Vedic jajna is you are doing full of desires. Here, whatever you do without desire, it becomes an offering. So, this archana is not with the flower or mithai or anything. It is an archana with our work. And how will the archana be completed? When you do without any selfish motive, without any desire, without any ego. Then that becomes, whatever you are doing, it will become an offering to the universal Lord. So if you do like that, then you will attain perfection. Because what is our purpose? Our purpose is to get rid of the raga, dvesha and the ego. So if you are offering means sometimes you have to do which you do not like to do. Sometimes you are not supposed to, you will not be allowed to do what you want to do. Depending on the necessity you have to do. And in doing also, you carry that I have done this, I have done that. If you do something sinful, you carry sinfulness. If you have done something great, you carry an elation. All these things will not be there. You have done whatever was to be done, you have done. If it is sinful, sinful doesn't matter. I don't have a feeling of sinfulness. If it is something great, nature has got it done. I have no elation for that at all. So that means the purpose is to remove the ego and the raga dvesha. That is done if we do the archana with our work. Do you get? This is the worship with the swakarma. That you are not changing your karma because of some attraction, repulsion, or because of some desire, or because of some sangha to something. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
paradharmat swanushtitat
paradharmat swanushtitat
swabhavaniyatam karma
swabhavaniyatam karma
kurvannapnoti kilbisham.
kurvannapnoti kilbisham.
He says that Shreyan swadharmaha vigunaha swadharmaha paradharmat swanushtitat. What is not your swadharma, that is paradharma, even if it is done well, consider swadharma to be better than that, although it has got some negative qualities. This we explained in the background of Bhagavad Gita. It is very important because Arjuna was asked to fight the war where he has to kill his own grandfather and teacher and whatnot. So it is one of the most sinful karma as per Arjuna's statement, ahovat mahat papam kattum vyavasita vayam yat rajya sukha lobhena antum svajana mudyataha. My own beloved people we are going to kill because of the greed for enjoying the kingdom. The whole Bhagavad Gita is only changing Arjuna's mindset that you are not fighting because of the greed for the kingdom, but to establish the righteous rule on earth, which is the duty of a Kshatriya. So your karma has got that bigunaha, that it will not very Kshatriya dharma, we say daruna Kshatriya dharma. That means it is never nobody can enjoy the Kshatriya dharma. You have to cut off the head of the wrongdoers. You have to fight. You have to fight in the war field. Like Rama, you have to sometimes abandon your wife. All those things are Raj Dharma is very, very difficult. For a good king, the Raja Dharma is one of the most difficult dharma. So there is lot of viguna in it. Viguna means negative qualities in it. But consider that to be better than following paradharma. What is the paradharma for Arjuna? He wanted to go to the forest, beg and become a sannyasin and practice kevala Jnana Nishtha. That was not his dharma. He would have sat in the forest trying to meditate, and constantly Duryodhana will come and that will happen and this will happen, and finally come back to Krishna and say that my mind is running away. So that is the paradharma. So it is true everywhere also, but in the context of the Bhagavad Gita, it is very important. Sahajam karma kaunteya.
Sahajam karma kaunteya.
Sadoshamapi na tyajet.
Sadoshamapi na tyajet.
Sarvarambha hi doshena.
Sarvarambha hi doshena.
Dhumena agnirivavritaha.
Dhumena agnirivavritaha.
This I have told you yesterday also, that sahajam karma. Sahaja means which is born with you. That means as you are born with certain qualities, what your activities will be there, that also is born with you, which is sahaja, with you, that according to the qualities. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajati. Even if it has some negative traits in it, you should not reject it, because everything is necessary for the society. Can you think of the work of a spy going to foreign country, taking to so many stealthy measures, and how much punishing, penalizing that act is. But unless there are spies, will we be able to protect our country? So, sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajat. Even if there is dosha, you should not abandon it, because every work is necessary. Sarvarambhai doshena dhumena agni rivarbritaha. Whatever you do, there will be some other negative element in that. Don't worry about it. All the undertaking you have, something bad and something good will be there. To establish a factory, you have to take away the land from the poor people. Is it not? Earlier days, to establish the factory, you have to throw the effluent in the river. Everything is wrong. So, dhumena agnihi iva avritaha. As the smoke covers the fire. Fire is brilliant, but is not smoke covering the fire, the brilliance of the fire. Like that, whatever you do, some dosha will be there which will cover up the brilliance of that. Asakta buddhis sarvatra.
Asakta buddhis sarvatra.
Jitatma vigata sprihaha.
Jitatma vigata sprihaha.
Naishkarmya-siddhim paramam.
Naishkarmya-siddhim paramam.
Sannyasena adhigacchati.
Sannyasena adhigacchati.
See, he has come back, Bhagavad Gita has come back to its pet notions. What is that? Asakta buddhi sarvatra. And jitatma means complete control over oneself. Vigata sprihaha, desireless. All the desires have gone. And asakta buddhi sarvatra. No ego, no attachment, as you say. Actually, these concepts we have to understand. Sakti, an attachment we say, it is an identity grown by constantly thinking about something. That is, it is my son, it is my children, this is my office, this is my instrument, or this is my school, whatever. That constantly thinking about the I and my and mine, we develop an identity with the object. In which chapter it is there? That asaktir anavishwangaha putradara grihadishu. 13th chapter. Asaktir anavishwangaha putradara grihadishu. This asakti and anavishwanga, there is a little difference. Don't confuse between asakta and asaktis. Asakta means who does not have sakti. But asakta means who has attachment. Asakta means attached. And asakta means disattached, non-attached. Asakti means non-attachment. Sakti means attachment. So these words you should be clear about, otherwise the meaning will become reverse. So asaktir anavishvanga. Asakti means not having the sakti. Anavishvanga means not having the avishvanga. This sakti is the constantly thinking. We develop an clinging to it. And avishvanga is we identify ourselves with that. Suppose we have identified so much with my camera that if the camera is broken, I feel I have been broken. It happens. The building, I become the building. One person was there was a small work done on the garden, and one visitor came and he just kicked over today Bunty kicked a flower pot. Suppose like that, kicked the flower pot and fell. Now Seema will be immediately looking into the flower pot, my plant is gone, my flower pot is broken. Whether Bunty's leg is broken, she will not worry about. That is called avishvanga. The constantly looking after the plants and the flower pots, she will grow so much of avishvanga to that if that is broken, what has happened? One pot broken, nothing has happened. You should first notice whether Bunty's leg has broken or not, or whether he has got injured or not. So this is asakti means, suppose I generally give an example that suppose you are reading some book where the tragic story is there, or you are seeing a film, it's a tragic film like Pathar Pachali and all those, there are many like that, Oliver Twist or anything. So there, when the pathos are depicted, either in the story or in the film, the pathos are depicted, you shed profuse tears, is it not so? We respond to the dukkha there. So we are dukhi at that time. We are shedding tears. But still we see and we enjoy. The dukkha we are enjoying, is it not so? If you don't enjoy, then why should you go by paying money, going to the film or buying the book? You will not. So although it is a dukkha, it is you are enjoying. This is a great example for us to know that dukkha is also enjoyable. But the same thing, what we are enjoying in the film or in the book, if it happens in your family, then you start shouting, oh Lord, why to me? Wailing and crying. Is it not? So the same thing, there is nothing wrong in the happening. It is a dukkha, suffering. But when it is for others, you are enjoying the suffering. Not that you are happy with the suffering, but you are really enjoying it. You are enriched by the suffering, let us say. We are enriched by the suffering there. But when it happens in our case, in our own family, we are not getting that enrichment. We are becoming slave to the situation and we are losing our self-seatedness there. That is why we are wailing. We are not shedding just the dukkha tears like that. We are crying and wailing. This is where the Sakti is coming. It is the same dukkha. If it is not in my family, I am able to know the dukkha in its own pristine form. When it is in my family, then the color of me and mine is corrupting the dukkha. The dukkha is getting corrupted actually. It is not the same genuine, the pristine dukkha. But when it is in the others, I don't have the Sakti there. It is the asakti, that is the Sakti not being there, we are able to see the things as they are and we are able to get enriched by that. But if it is in my own case where I had developed a Sakti and Avishvanga, we are not able to get enriched by that. It is degenerating for us. So, Asakta Buddhi means where always his intelligence, our intelligence will help us to get rid of this identity, get rid of this attachment. Attachment word we have stopped using because it has become a cliche. Nobody thinks about it. Attachment. So actually it is a clinging to our me and mine and what I like, and a hatred or intolerance towards what I dislike. The same thing. Basically, it is an ego with its all paraphernalia. That is, I is the ego. But with me, that when it is my son doing something wrong, also I get hurt. Because it is my son. If the other son does, no problem. Or if there is a scope of saying that no, it has not been done by my son, he is very good, but because of the association with the other boy, it has happened. You condemn the other son. Actually, maybe it is reverse, we don't know. So, this asakta buddhi is sarvatra. Everywhere we have to practice this asakta buddhi. That means seeing things as they are, knowing things as they are, knowing myself, my personality as I am. The correct, the true vision. It will give us the true vision. Jita Atma. This asakta buddhi will not come unless we are Jitatma. As long as we are slave to the sense organs, sense indulgence and all, how can you have this asakta buddhi, true vision? Because your vision will be colored by your attraction, repulsion. You get it? Jitatma is a must for asakta buddhi. Or you can say if the asakta buddhi is generated, you will become Jitatma. That way also it is okay. Vigata spriha. Spriha means again desire, trishna, etc. That means without the desire, knowing that desire is not going to make us fulfill, can we not become intelligent and make the desires redundant, do everything naturally? Because mind you, he is now talking about swakarma. That means you are not doing anything motivated by desire. So he has to be desireless. If we are desireless, then we will be able to take to our swakarma, whatever is natural to us. We will not try to do something which is much beyond our capability and then create problem there. That also we do now. Often we do. Seeing others doing something, I am not deserving that, but I think that I would have been better doing that. And we try to do that and create problem. नहीं होता है, ऐसा तो बहुत होता है, आश्रम में भी बहुत होता है. So, what happens if you do like that? Naishkarmya-siddhim paramam. The supreme perfection called naiṣhkarmya-siddhi, sannyasena adhigacchati, attained by sannyasa. Now this can be interpreted in both ways. Because given the context and Bhagavad Gita is only speaking about the internal. That is, sannyasa is internal sannyasa. Naishkarmya-siddhi also is internal. It has nothing to do with the not doing anything outside. Sannyasa is not the formal outward sannyasa, because neither Arjuna nor Krishna was sannyasin. Is it not? But you can interpret in the outer manner also. Shankaracharya also has done like that. But generally it doesn't fully correspond to Bhagavad Gita. You see 6.1, the 6th chapter, 1st verse. Got it? Anashrita karma phalam.
Karma phalam.
Anashrita karma phalam.
Anashrita karma phalam.
Karyam karma karoti yaha.
Karyam karma karoti yaha.
Sasannyasi cha yogi cha.
Sasannyasi cha yogi cha.
Na niragnir na chakriyah.
Na niragnir na chakriyah.
He says that who is a sannyasin and who is a yogi? That both he is saying it is same. He is sannyasin, he is a yogi. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. He is a sannyasin and also a yogi. Who? Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha. Karyam karma. That means karya means whatever has to be done. That means whatever comes to us to be done. Karya means to be done. Karma, that action which is to be done, he does. Karoti yaha, he does. In what manner? Anashrita karma phalam. Again, the same thing. That is, karma phala means not the objective result of that. But our ashra is from that objective result, I will become happy. I will gain this, I will gain that, and then I will become happy. That is the karma phala. That is, you should not think that by doing this, I will become happy, I will gain this, I will gain that. No personal gain, personal satisfaction or anything. But you are doing because it has to be done. So your focus will be completely on the karma. It is not that the objective result is going to change. It will rather be the most perfect objective result possible in that situation. Because normally your mind will be upset. Will it happen? Then will I be sacked from the office? Or will my family will have this, that, and all? Always we are fearful, anxious, doubtful about things, and that hampers our work. In this case, nothing like that. Is it to be done or not? What is the objective result of this? This objective result is good for the society or not? If it is to be done by me, I will do. That's all. So he does anashrita. That means his refuge is not in the karma phala that it will make me rich, it will make me happy, it will make me fulfilled. No. I have understood that nothing from the world is going to make me fulfilled. The fulfillment is right there within me, in the soul itself. The moment we stop looking for something from the world, we become fulfilled. So, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. He is a sannyasin, one who does like this, that is, who is not taking his refuge in the karma phala. He is a sannyasin. So they are not talking about the outer sannyasa. It is his mind. Na niragnir na chakriyaha. Because generally the sannyasins will not do any yaga jajja. We have the sacred thread and then we have the right to perform the yaga jajja. So we start doing, we develop the adhikara, that is deservingness for doing the yajna. Now before sannyasa you have to do viraja homam, where you even put the sacred thread into fire. That means after sannyasa you don't have any adhikara to do yaga, jajja, puja, anything. A sannyasin is not supposed to do any puja also. So niragnir means a person who has stopped doing the agni hotra or anything. Agni hotra or any yaga, jajja. Generally the sannyasin will stop doing it. He says, no, that is only an outer symbol. If you are a niragni, okay. But if you do something having your refuge in the karma phala, that I will gain from this or that or so, and then I will be happy, then you are not a sannyasin. So sannyasa is a completely internal development when you become absolutely independent, free from everything. You don't expect anything from anywhere, from anybody, anytime. I say it in one line very easily, but you have to think about it hours to actualize that. Na cha akriyaha. That is, na niragni, na cha akriyaha. That is, does not do the religious actions of homa and all, agni. And akriya means the other activities also. Because sannyasa will say that I have nothing to do. He will sit in the cave only and keep quiet. So just by renouncing the external activities and external religious as well as non-religious activities. Akriya means non-religious and agni means religious. By renouncing the non-religious and religious activities, you don't become a sannyasin, he is saying clearly. This is the sannyasa of Bhagavad Gita. We have to compare the shlokas and come to know. You see in 5th chapter, 3rd verse. Yeyasa nitya sannyasi
Yeyasa nitya sannyasi
yo nadveshti na kankshati
yo nadveshti na kankshati
nirdvandvo hi mahabaho
nirdvandvo hi mahabaho
sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
He says, Jnayasa nitya sannyasi. Oh Arjuna, know him to be a nitya sannyasi, means always he is a sannyasin. Whatever he does, whether he is fighting a war or not, even he may fight a war, but he is a nitya sannyasi. Who? Yo na dveshti na kankshati. Who doesn't have any desire or hatred. That is, he is not wanting anything for personal gain, and he is not intolerant about anything, or he is not hating anything. So when Arjuna had to kill Bhishma, it is parallelly the other side of the coin is that he cannot have dvesha bhava towards Duryodhana. Duryodhana also he has to kill as a necessity. It was a need of the time, not out of enmity towards Duryodhana. Bhima did not have that. Bhima was very much given to enmity and dvesha bhava. That is why after defeating him, he stamped his foot on Duryodhana's head. Then Krishna told him that not to do that. He is a king. You should know that, to respect the king. So this is the internal. Similarly, both the verses I have told you. Let us go back to 18th chapter. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigataspriha
Jitatma vigataspruhaha
naiṣhkarmya-siddhim paramam
naiṣhkarmya-siddhim paramam
sannyasena-adhigacchati.
sannyasena-adhigacchati.
So he says that this supreme perfection called Naishkarmya-siddhi, when there is nothing, no action at all, that is attained by sannyasena, by sannyasa, tritiya vibhakti, sannyasena adhigacchati. It is attained by sannyasa. Now what is the sannyasa we have seen in 5th chapter and 6th chapter? If that is the Naishkarmya-siddhi, means that Naishkarmya-siddhi is, he will not feel that I am doing anything. Like a machine that run by the universal Lord, by the universal nature, my body, mind, personality is doing everything. That is the Naishkarmya. Now this siddhi is the karmaja siddhi. Don't forget the link. Why is he saying all this? Swakarma-nirata siddhi. That is one who is dedicated to his swakarma, svabhava karma. For him siddhi comes in this manner. And what is this siddhi or the perfection? That he does everything as his natural karma, not having ego, not having raga dvesha. So the work becomes easy, as if the guna guneshu vattanta iti matva na sajjate. He doesn't get bound by anything. He doesn't get attached to anything. He doesn't cling to anything. He doesn't hate anything. Whatever comes, he goes on doing. So the doership is getting sublimated there. This siddhi word, you can connect it to the 45th verse. He said that swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachunu. I will tell you how the perfection is attained by one who is devoted to his swakarma. Now he says here, Naishkarmya-siddhim paramam sannyasena adhigacchati. Once who does asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigataspriha, then he attains this siddhi. Now this siddhi is not the ultimate perfection. That is why in the next shloka you find that siddhim prapto, let us read that 50th verse. Siddhim prapto yatha brahma
Siddhim prapto yatha brahma
tathapnoti nibodhame
tathapnoti nibodhame
samasenaiva kaunteya
samasenaiva kaunteya
nishtha jnanasya ya para.
jnanasya ya para.
So he says that after having this siddhi, how he attains the Brahman, that is the ultimate knowledge of the ultimate truth. Samasena, I will tell you, nibodhame, you come to know, you know from me how a person who has attained this karmaja siddhi by his action, finally how he attains the Brahma prapti, that how he has the Brahma prapti, he becomes the Brahman. How it happens, I will tell you. What is that? Samasenaiva kaunteya. That in essence, I will tell you, nishtha jnanasya ya para. This is the ultimate Jnana Nishtha. That is the exclusive Jnana Nishtha we have said. That is the full Nishtha, means nisheshana tishtati. Now Jnana Nishtha means there is nothing other than knowledge at all. What is the knowledge here? The Atma, the Brahman. So for him there is nothing other than Brahman, because everything has become Brahman for him. Is it not? The whole world, including his own personality, his mind, everything is but an appearance in the Brahman. So for him it is the Brahman. That is called the Jnana Nishtha. The moment a person slips from that Nishtha, he will remember that he is slipping and he has to get fixed to it. That is called Jnana Nishtha. Our ashram, always Swamiji says that we are given to Jnana Nishtha, not any other Nishtha. So we don't have the austerities. The usual austerities of an ashram, physical austerity, or food austerity, nothing is there now. But we must have the Jnana Nishtha. That is the moment we are slipping for this impersonal attitude of the mind. Then we are slipping from our austerity. This is our austerity. So, I will take it up tomorrow. So here the link is that from this siddhi, the karmaja siddhi, how one goes over to the ultimate perfection of knowledge, that he will discuss. And then he will say that having that, he attains parabhakti towards me, the supreme devotion towards me. And that supreme devotion, he comes to know what am I in essence. So various stages are there. Then he says that I have told you everything, you do whatever you like. Then he says that no, I will tell you the greatest secret, and says that man mana bhava mad bhakta. This is the way Bhagavad Gita proceeds. Now this Naishkarmya-siddhi is another way of looking at it, is that when you are meditating and getting fused into the impersonal soul, that is the samadhi, impersonal soul, then there is no activity at all. The getting lost in samadhi, there is no activity. That is also a naiṣhkarmya-siddhi, temporary. Now that is called atma-sthiti. In 6th chapter also you will find how Krishna is taking from atma-sthiti to brahma-sthiti. Here also it is like that. If you consider the naiṣhkarmya-siddhi as atma-sthiti, by sannyasa means, that is also a sannyasa. In samadhi, to get into samadhi, you have to leave everything. Unless you have left your sense organs, the senses, mind, intelligence, you will not have nirvikalpa samadhi. So that is also an internal sannyasa, temporary. So that state we can also explain as an atma sthiti or samadhi sthiti, where it is sannyasa, it is naishkarmya also. So it is atma sthiti. From there, how one will go to brahma sthiti, that is being discussed later on. Brahma sthiti means to know that Atma is the substratum of the entire universe. So in Brahma Sthiti, the Atma is not only Nischala, not only impersonal. That Atma is becoming the entire energy of the universe. The whole play of energy is also in that soul only, also in that consciousness only. So Atma Sthiti is a Nischala Sthiti, but Brahma Sthiti is with everything. It is a comprehensive Purna Sthiti. It's a Purna. Okay, we will stop.
Naiṣhkarmya-siddhi is only internal feeling of non-doership or something more?
What more? No, non-doership means the internal, but here this is not meaning the ultimate attainment of non-doers, but sublimation of the ego, and in the temporary level the samadhi also you can say, because that is also naishkarma and sannyasa. It's a temporary level for that period only. If the ego goes and the ragadvesha also is not there, then the karma will not have its bondage. Binding effect will not be there. Non-doership is a little higher than that. Whether he has meant it here, I don't know. Then otherwise, again, from that Brahma Sthiti and all will not come. So we have to take it as a karmaja-siddhi only. So here the important point is, all the four, these statements are true of all the four categories. He is not partial in it. Whether you belong to the Brahmana varna, Kshatriya varna, Vaishya varna or Shudra varna, whatever is your swakarma, doing that you have to come to this, and then you have to take to Jnana Nishtha to have the ultimate Brahmic knowledge. These links, unless you remember, nobody will tell you, it is not written in the book. So you should have attention and write it down, otherwise you will be lost in Bhagavad Gita. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nityabodhaswarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nityabodhaswarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Yesterday actually I wanted to say this, but because of this halla gulla, everything got spoiled. So today I feel more happy that I have been able to present again. It has come out somehow. So